So if you think of algebra, what types of things have we learned over the course of this year that you would associate with algebra? What are algebraic things? Yeah. Polynomials, okay, sure. What else? What things do you associate, what kinds of math do you associate with algebra? What's a quadratic formula? Associate that with algebra? How about star method? Okay, slope, graphing, yeah. Okay, doing like y equals mx plus b. Okay, factoring. Okay, all of those things that you associate with algebra. Okay, doing math on both sides to solve for an equation. Okay, I'm going to do this on both sides. Okay, well this is where algebra meets trig. So if you like algebra, if you're like, ooh, I like factoring. Okay, don't tell anybody, but I like factoring. Or if you kind of like the quadratic formula, or you kind of like that kind of stuff. All right, this is where that meets trig, and the two things are joined together. So for the next couple days, that's what we're going to be doing, is the mixture of those two. All right, solve for x. That's a very algebra thing to say. It just means do math on both sides legally until you have x by itself, until x is alone. That's what we're going to be doing. We'll start out with some simple ones, and then they'll get a little bit more complex as we go, but you're just going to legally do math on both sides until you have uncovered the values of x and x is by itself. So that is the ultimate solving. All right, so our first question, we'll start pretty straightforward. We're going to solve the cosecant of x being equal to 2. Okay, this is an algebra problem because it has x in it, but it's also a trig problem because it has cosecant in it. So x makes it algebra, because the trig part makes it, makes it trig. All right, but we want to get x alone. So what do we have to get rid of? The cosecant. How do we get rid of cosecant? Cosecant inverse. So we're going to use cosecant inverse on both sides. So just put big parentheses around the thing that you're applying it to, and then we'll do it on both sides. So on the left side, the cosecant inverse will cancel out the original cosecant, leaving me with x all by itself. And on the right side, I have cosecant inverse of 2. Now I have x by itself, but I need to finish solving the question. I know that cosecant inverse is connected to sine inverse. And so I'm going to change the outside to sine inverse. But you can't change the outside without changing the inside. And so we change the inside from 2 to 1/2. And now I use my unit circle to finish answering this question. I know that this has to be a y-coordinate. It has to be in quadrant 1. Okay. What? Yep, 1/6. And so the answer is 1/6 pi. Okay, let's try another one. All right, let's solve tangent of 3x equals -1. Again, the x is what makes it an algebra problem. The tangent is what makes it a trig problem. And so we want to start getting rid of things. What's the first thing to get rid of? Tangent. So we'll apply tangent inverse. I'll put big parentheses around the left side. I will also apply tangent inverse with big parentheses around the right side. So that will cancel out on the left, leaving me with 3x. And then I want tangent inverse of -1. Before I do anything with the 3, I need to use my unit circle to solve this. It's going to be in quadrant 4 because it's a negative number. And I need to find the position in quadrant 4 where tangent has an overall value of -1, where the sine and the cosine work together. Okay. -1/4 pi is the answer to that. Now, I still need to do a legal math move on both sides to get my x ultimately by itself. And so my last step would be divide both sides by 3. And so that gives me x by itself. And -1/4 pi divided by 3 is -1/12 pi. And now x is by itself, and I have my solution. Okay, let's try another one. Okay, solving 2 cosine x plus 1 equals 0. X makes it algebra, cosine makes it trig. What should I do to both sides first? What do you think? What do I want to get rid of? Subtract the 1. Okay, so 2 cosine x equals -1. So I subtract the 1 on both sides. What should I get rid of next? Yep, divide by 2. So the cosine of x is -1/2. Then I'm going to apply the inverse cosine on both sides. And so it cancels out the cosine, leaving me with x alone. And so x is the inverse cosine of -1/2. So the answer to this is the x coordinate, but it's going to be in quadrant 2 because it's a negative value. All right, so when does the x coordinate assume the answer of -1/2 in quadrant 2? 2/3. Okay, yeah, 4/3 pi is in quadrant. It does, but it's in quadrant 3. All right, so the answer is 2/3 pi. So most of these don't take a lot of work on both sides. These are pretty straightforward ones. You still just need to know your unit circle really well. All right, cotangent of x equals rad 3. We're going to solve that. So we'll use cotangent inverse on both sides. On the left side, the cotangent inverse cancels out the cotangent, leaving me with x. And on the right side, I have cotangent inverse of rad 3. To solve this, I need to know what cotangent inverse is connected to. All right, and so cotangent inverse is connected to cosine over sine. We know that tangent is sine over cosine, so cotangent has to be cosine over sine. And so the rad 3 is the numerator, which means I only have 1 left over for the denominator. But somebody got rid of what? Here, the 2's, right? Somebody got rid of the denominator of the 2's. So it probably will be easier for you to answer this question if you put those 2's back. And so you have cosine inverse of rad 3 over 2 and sine inverse of 1 over 2. And so this is going to be the x coordinate, and this will be the y coordinate, and that pair has to happen in quadrant 1 because they're all positive. Okay, and that's going to happen at 1/6. And so that'll be the solution for that one. All right, just a few more. Each time I'm going to try and show you something that we haven't seen yet. All right, so let's try solving secant of 2x equals rad 2. So my first thing would be to get rid of secant, and I do that with the inverse secant. So I'll use inverse secant on both sides. So inverse secant around the secant 2x and around the rad 2. Inverse secant cancels out, leaving me with 2x. And then I have secant inverse rad 2 on the other side. Don't deal with the 2 that's in front of the x. Save that for the very, very last step. All right, what I want to do first is keep the 2x, but I want to change secant to cosine inverse. And if I change the outside, I also have to change the inside to 1 over rad 2. And this is about the only time that you are going to have to rationalize, because you're going to want to multiply by rad 2. You don't have to rationalize very often, but here's one of the cases where you want to. So we end up with cosine inverse of the rationalized rad 2 over 2, which is an x-coordinate in quadrant 1 because it's positive. And so that would be 1/4 pi. But I still have 2x on the other side. Yeah? That would work. That would compass the same thing. Yep. Okay, and then I'm going to divide both sides by 2. And so x would equal, now 1/4 divided by 2 when you're using fractions becomes 1/8. And so the answer is 1/8. All right, now we're going to need our calculator. And the types of problems you'll need your calculator for are going to look like this. Solve sine x equals 0.7. So what's the dead giveaway that you're going to need your calculator? Okay, it's got a decimal, right? It's not a fraction like a unit circle, and so we would need our calculator. However, you do need your calculator set to a different mode for this chapter. And so hit your mode button and verify that it is now in radian mode instead of degree mode. All right, we want to be in radian mode. It's not hard as long as you do have your calculator set in the right mode. And so we would apply inverse sine on both sides. So inverse sine around the sine x side and inverse sine around the 0.7. And so x by itself would be the value of you typing in inverse sine of 0.7 in radian mode on your calculator. Okay, Scott, what'd you get?
Oh my God, 0.775.
I feel like I had, yep, 0.775. All right, last example of the day. All right, solve cotangent 5x equals 1.4. All right, what do I need on both sides? Thank you. Cotangent inverse of cotangent of 5x equals cotangent inverse of 1.4. All right, the cotangent inverse and the cotangent cancel out, leaving you with 5x. And then what is the first obvious problem? There's no cotangent inverse button on your calculator, right? Okay. All right. So then what do we do with that? All right. Well, first thing is I want to change, to help this be easier for us, I'm going to change this to 14 tenths. Excuse me, 14, not 1.4. Make it a fraction. It's always easier if you have it as a fraction instead of a decimal. But what I'm going to do is change cotangent, because it's connected to tangent inverse. But remember, I've said it all day, if you change the outside of the trig, then you got to change the inside also. So what should the inside change to? 10 over 14. All right, now you do have a button for that. Yeah. Okay, so you do have a button for tangent inverse of 10 over 14. Okay, so 0.620. But I still don't have x by itself. So the absolute very, very last step would be to divide by 5. So 0.124 is your final answer.